Well, hello there. Welcome back. If you are new here, my name is Rusty, and this is my channel where I talk about me favorite movies, mostly horror, and me favorite music, mostly metal, if I can ever get back around to that. And yeah, I have decided to take on a little series of, as you see in the title, and this movie is truly one of my favorite movies of all time. It definitely ranks in that section. If I could ever get around to doing that, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, so we're going to do this. Also, Miss Carter, she was kind of excited for me to do this series, so we're going to do that. You could head on over to Instagram, Ms. Carter's Movie Thoughts. That's Ms. Carter's underscore movie underscore thoughts on Instagram. She does really nice, thoughtful reviews, written reviews of her favorite movies, and you can also find her letterbox where she does the same. I do have my letterbox down there in the description, I think, but I'm an international movie database guy. That's where I've been for 15 years. I tried to get into Letterboxd, I just couldn't. I forget to go there. It's not that I hate it or anything. I just forget to go there. I'm just always on International Movie Database. But yeah, so we are going to start the Joyride series. Now, like I said, this movie is definitely in my favorite movies of all time list. No problem at all with it being, high up in that list. Now, Joyride was released in 2001, directed by John Dahl and written by Clay Trevor and J.J. Abrams. It stars Steve Zahn. That's before J.J. Abrams became a dick. But it stars Steve Zahn and Paul Walker and Leelee Sobieski. And yeah, so we're going to get into this movie. I absolutely adore Joyride. It is a masterpiece, not only of the genre, but of horror. I mean, I just love this movie. Now, interestingly enough, Joyride does not have a Blu-ray release that I could ever find or find any releases for. Uh, it's strange that some movies are like that. It's Not Alone. Um, Stuff, even major stuff, mediocre, middle of the road stuff that wasn't super popular, like Little Boy Blue, one of Ryan Philippe's first movies. The only horror movie that what's his guy from The Mummy, Brendan Fraser. He did a movie called The Ballad of Darkly Noon with Ashley Judd, big stars, and yet it's never got a Blu-ray release. Little Boy Blues never got a Blu-ray release. Catch Hell with Ryan Philippe didn't get a Blu-ray release. But then there's also big ones, like off the top of my head, Private Benjamin. For God's sakes, Goldie Hawn, Private Benjamin, right? Private Benjamin was in the top 10 movies of 1980 worldwide. I mean, it was a huge smash hit. And not only has it never got a Blu-ray release, but Private Benjamin has never even gotten a widescreen DVD release. The only thing you can get of Private Benjamin is a shitty transfer, full screen DVD from way back when DVDs first came out. That's it. No Private Benjamin. That is so strange. And there's a lot of movies like that for whatever reason. But Joyride has also never gotten a Blu-ray release, and that's very strange since the other two have. But yeah, so Joyride 2001. Uh, Synopsis of the movie, of course, if you, who hasn't seen it, but if you haven't, you basically have Lewis. Paul Walker is Lewis, and he has a friend named Vanna. Yeah, Vanna. So why did that just leave me? I don't know. That's because I seem to concentrate more on the guys, as you can imagine. But Venna is his friend. She's just went through a bad breakup. They're both going to their various colleges. She puts into, while she wished she could have like a nice relaxing ride out there instead of taking the plane. So he turns in his plane ticket, buys a little used car, and he's going to go stop and pick her up and take her to Colorado, take her to college, and drop her off. So that's his plan. So he gets a car, he takes off. Now, on the way, he checks in with his mother, and his mother informs him that his brother has just gotten out of jail. He's been in trouble again. His name is Fuller, and he's like 5, 6 years older than him. So, yeah, he decides, out of niceness, that he's going to stop and pick him up unexpectedly. He didn't know. And help him out, get him to where he wants to go, and then go on with his trip. So he stops and he picks him up, and you can definitely see the difference. Their personalities are very different. Fuller is an asshole. He's the troublemaker. He's one of those that likes to blame his dad for not liking him when, you know, why are you entitled to that? You think that you can go out there and go to jail and get in trouble and be a troublemaker and shit, and your parents are just supposed to go, oh, he's my baby. No, there are people that are going to like, I tried and I tried and I tried. And you just want to be an asshole. I didn't raise you that way. So, but that's beside the point. And Paul, or Lewis, he is the nice kid. He's the one who goes to school. He's the one who graduated. He's the one who's on a good track. So they take off on this little trip. And on the way, Fuller, the troublemaker, he stops and at this place to help him get a couple of little items fixed on the car. And while he's there, he picks up a CB radio. And he picks this up, he says, and well, and it's kind of true, but he picked it up because if they're going to go on a cross-country trip, they can use the CB to check for cops, like where they can make good time. So they pick that up and they start playing on it. Lewis has never messed with it or anything. And Fuller, of course, the little troublemaker, is making fun of the truckers being an asshole, and he talks Lewis into pretending to be a girl named Candy Cane so that they can prank the truckers. And at first it was just like making fun of their responses to her. So she ends up getting a hold of a trucker that responds named Rusty Nell, and he, is flirting with her, and they think it's really funny and stuff like that. So he keeps pushing it. Fuller keeps pushing Lewis to push it further, until they finally get him to like meet them at a motel. Now the whole prank of this was he ran into this big mouth asshole in the lobby who was giving him grief. So he got Lewis to get Rusty Nail to think that he was going to meet Candy Cane at this motel with pink champagne, and actually sends him to the asshole next door's room that caused him to be a problem. So that was the prank. Now, here's where I'll take a little side note, because this is kind of funny. When I first saw this movie, it had a special resonation with me, because I had a cousin named Teresa. Now, Teresa was about 1.5 years younger than me, and I lived with my grandmother, and on our land behind there was a guest house, and my uncle and Teresa lived back there, him and his wife and her. So we were best friends. We were raised together, and we were best friends. So across the street there was a lady named Miss Paget, and Miss Paget had a son who was into the ham radio CB stuff a lot, had like a whole room for it. And we would go over there and listen to him play on it and stuff like that. Now, one time he wasn't there, and me and my cousin Teresa was over there at Miss Paget's, and we were playing on the CB, and we were, just talking and listening to the truckers and stuff like that, and we did that exact thing. Not with any kind of prank or ill will or malice in mind. It wasn't that. But, she was like 14 and a half and I was like 16. And we were pretending to be girls and flirting with the truckers. That's what we were doing on the CB. And we were listening to them and stuff like that. And I can't remember what we called ourselves or anything, but I'm sure I did something like Juicy Fruit or something or whatever. So we did actually do that. And we did do something very stupid because we were children. And that was that we, some guy was flirting with us and we were flirting back, doing the same thing that Lewis was doing in this movie. And we said, well, we live in so-and-so. We gave the name of our town. And when we did that, there was a trucker that came on the CB and said to turn to a different channel or whatever. So we turned to the channel, and this dude, we got in trouble. He started, saying that I can tell that y'all are young girls. There you go. I can tell y'all are young girls and you don't know what the hell you're doing. If I hear you doing this stuff and I hear you giving out your location like that, because you have no idea how dangerous what you just did was, and you're going to get hurt and you're going to get killed. And he bitched us out, right? And then he said that he was going to call, if he heard us doing that again, that he was going to call the local police station and that they were going to track us and we was going to get in trouble. Now, I don't know if that's really possible. I didn't then, and to tell you the truth, I don't now. I don't know whether that is really impossible or not, but I tell you what it did do. And that it shut two little teeny boppers up because we did not do that anymore. And whoever that trucker was, I thank him. You know what I'm saying? Because we were stupid little kids, and we did give the location. We did, our name. I mean, the name of our town. Now, would we have given more than that? Would we have actually met anybody? Of course not. We're not that stupid. But would we have given more information as to where we were? I would hope we weren't that stupid, but I'm glad that the trucker did not take the chance, because he bitched us out in major fashion. Probably because he had daughters or something or whatever. Of course, he never knew that one of us was a dude. but yeah, so that really happened. That really and truly happened. We got bitched out for flirting with truckers when we screwed up and gave the location of our town. And another trucker bitched us out in major fashion, and we didn't do that anymore. Now, we did play on the CB. We listened and talked normally. But we did not flirt, and we did not do that ever again. So wherever you are, Mr. Trucker, thank you for shutting two little teeny boppers up, because we could have gotten into a lot of trouble. So when I saw this movie, you can imagine the flashback that it gave me, because I'm like, oh shit, we did that. We could have gotten a hold of Rusty Nail. So that's kind of a little cool side story about my young life, and my connection to this movie, is that we really did what Lewis and Fuller did. Not with the same intention, though. So anyway, the guy Rusty Nail shows up at the motel, ends up very angry, as you can imagine, and they really didn't know anything had happened until they got up the next day, and there's cops outside, and they want to know what, with if anyone heard anything or anything like that, because the dude was found down the road with his whole bottom jaw ripped off, even though, so he wasn't dead. Now they admitted to the cops after something so serious. They admitted to the cops what they had done. The cop was furious, sort of like that trucker was to me and Teresa. But the cop was furious, told them to get the hell out of town, get the hell out of the state, and stuff like that. So they go on about their business, only to find out that Rusty Nail is a psycho. He is following them. He is watching them. He, nearly kills them. Um, they are in a lot of trouble. And they had thrown the CB out, but he had put it back in their trunk. And they went ahead and picked up Venna, but they didn't tell her at first. So they thought kind of everything was all right. They go to a club, a bar, they go to a motel. They're taking a slow, easy ride across country. And at the motel, Rusty Nail calls Lewis, tells him that Fuller is down there with the Venna, and it's on, game on again. They take off, they run. He's like spray painted the road signs, look in the truck, Lewis. They stop, and it's the CB. He gets on there. Now, Venna, of course, has no idea any of this has went on. And when this all happens, they kind of have to fess up to Venna what they had done. And of course, Rusty Nail gets on the CB, starts giving them directions. He's obviously a psycho. He's obviously very angry. And then one of the, well, I plan on doing a top 10 male butts in horror movie video, just to get back at all of the boob talk on all of the other channels. So I'm going to talk about guys' butts in a top 10. So count on that. But we end up at the scene that is number one on that list. And that is that, as a joke, he makes Lewis and Fuller get out of the car, walk into a very, very busy truck stop, completely naked, and order 12 cheeseburgers, 6 apiece. So that is an actually primo. That is a wonderful scene. Not only is it funny and humiliating, but it's a very nice scene to look at. But that's when Venna knows things are really, really serious. So there continues to be this cat and mouse chase between them. They try to reason with him. He's not having it. They try to apologize. It's too late. He's not having that either. He ends up letting them know that he's even kidnapped her friend that they met briefly where they picked her up at her previous dorm. He's kidnapped her. Charlotte, I think is her name. So now they start having to perform these tasks or he's going to kill Charlotte. They can't go to the cops. They can't do anything. He ends up managing also, eventually, he manages to kidnap Venna, sets up a trap in a motel. I mean, Rusty Nail is a bad villain, and he only gets more bad as the movies progress. But he sets up a trap to where when they open the door, it's going to blow her head off with a double-barrel shotgun. And that's some very tense scenes. They do manage to have this big fight. It all works out fine. And supposedly, Rusty Nail is dead. And they live wiser ever after. I doubt they'll put their mouth on a CB again. But yeah, so that's the way the movie ends, and the movie ends with the knowledge that he is still alive. That the guy in the truck was obviously someone else that they thought was Rusty now. So that's the way it ends. Is him supposedly dead, but he's not. Now, like I said, there's also, at least, there is a 25-minute alternative ending on the special edition of Joyride that you should really check out if you don't own this, because that alternate ending is really good as well. So, yeah, that's a good special feature that's on the DVD, the special edition of it. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Joyride. Um, Everything about this movie is perfect to me. It is a masterpiece. Um, the acting, the choice of cast members, the way that they did the stalking road movie, like The Hitcher kind of way. And yeah, everything about it is perfect. So that's it. That's Joyride. I definitely give it a 10 out of 10 on International Movie Database. It is definitely in my top favorite movies of all time. The sequels are not, but they're watchable. But the sequels are not. But this movie is fantastic. If you've not seen it, you should. If you do, tell me about it in the comments if you choose to. What did you think about it? Um, what are your feelings on it? And yeah, I can tell you from experience, don't play pranks on a CB. You can get in trouble. Whether it's being bitched out or getting killed by Rusty Nail. Either way, don't do it. So I will see you in the next video. We're going to do all 3 Joyride movies, and I will be right back with the next in the series. And yeah, always remember, never forget, you are a wonderful, special person, unique individual. Don't let anyone ever tell you differently. And yeah, love you, miss you, bye. And I will see you in the next one, where we will tackle Joyride 2. Dead Ahead, unrated. Bye-bye.